Welcome back, student. Let's study the five kingdom classification. First of all, welcome and hope you all are fine and happy right now in this COVID condition. So, we are going to cover the part number 2 of lesson 2, that is biological classification, and our today's topic is five kingdom classification. In five kingdom classification, the first kingdom, that is Monera, will be studied by us. It is the first number topic, Monera, kingdom Monera. Remember this. There were five kingdom, no? Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Kingdom Monera is going to be studied by us in our today's class. So, which kind of organism has been included in this kingdom? Means a lots of unicellular organisms which are prokaryotic, means those organisms which have no true nucleus in their cell, although they all are unicellular. So all unicellular prokaryotic organism has been grouped under the category kingdom Monera. Let's study. So the kingdom Monera include all the prokaryotes, means those organisms which have no nucleus. Their nuclear membrane is nakedly moved into the cytoplasm. They have no nucleus. So what kind of organism that belong to kingdom Monera? They are mycoplasma, bacteria, actinomycetes and cyanobacteria. Let's study everyone very clearly. First of all, we are going to study about the basic characteristics of kingdom Monera. First, all the members of kingdom Monera are unicellular. Very important topic. Second, they are prokaryotic. This means they have no nucleus in their cell. Third, they are the most primitive kind of living organism. Primitive means very old kind of organism. When there were no anything on the world and the world has developed, thus started developing new kind of organism. So the first organism that has been developed in the primitive world, in the primitive earth, were these unicellular organisms, because they have no any kind of system at all of developed at that time. Very simple kind of organism they are. So the cells are microscopic, means they can only be observed under the compound microscope. The cell wall is generally present, obviously, but in mycoplasma cell wall is absent. Remember this. It can be asked, name a member of Monera which have no cell wall. In that case, your answer would be cell wall. The member is mycoplasma. Next, obviously they have no nucleus, but they contain the chromatic fiber, or you can say DNA, or you can say genetic material, or you can say nuclear material. All the things are same. Chromatin fiber, genetic material, nuclear material or DNA, all are same thing. So all together they are present nakedly on the cytoplasm. Means this is chromosome, or you can say DNA, or you can say chromatin fiber, or you can say genetic material is spreading here and there into the cytoplasm. Means it is not covered by nuclear membrane, and that's why it have no defined nucleus. Understood? So the genetic material are not organized into nucleus and contain naked DNA. Hope you understood. Now, different kind of cell organelle, which is obviously very vital, is not present in Monera. like mitochondria, Golgi body, centrosome, lysosome, endoplasmic reticulum. Obviously, these all kind of cell organelles are very important for particular kind of a cell. These organelles are absent in Monera. Then how can they do all the kind of function in the absence of these peculiar kind of cell organelle? They perform all the function by different method. Obviously, this method is necessary to study in the higher classes like in BSc and all. Understood? So membrane bounded organelles are absent. Membrane bounded organelles are absent. Means mitochondria, Golgi body, centrosome, lysosome, endoplasmic reticulum, this kind of cell organelles are not present in the Monera. Now, reproduction. Which kind of reproduction is preferred by the unicellular organism? Obviously, they are very ill-developed organism. So, the method of reproduction they utilized is the asexual mean of reproduction. So, reproduction is asexual. Only gene recombination, no gene recombination can be seen. Means no sexual phenomenon can be seen. And obviously, some member of this organism are motile, means they can move from one place to another place. Although they are unicellular, they have the capability to move from one place to another place in some cases. So those organisms which can able to move from one place to another place have peculiar kind of locomotory organ called flagella. So flagella may be present or may not be present. And what are the example of kingdom Moneras? Blue-green algae, bacteria, etc., etc., etc. Hope you understanding all the point very clearly. It is known to you from very beginning in the class 9. You have studied. So, which is the most important member of this kingdom? Bacteria are the most abundant microorganism that can be survived in any kind of climate. And these bacteria are belong to kingdom Monera. Remember this point. This is a very important point. Bacteria are the most important member of kingdom Monera. Now, we are going to classify the different kinds of bacteria. There are two main different kinds of bacteria. First is called archaebacteria. The name comes from archaeological, means very primitive. When the world just started the formation of living organism, means new living organism has been arisen from the newly born earth. So the organism that has been arisen in that huge climate, means a very unbearable climate, where archaebacteria, there were very hot climate, or they can able to live in a cold climate also. They can live in acid also. They can live in the water also. They can able to live in the you can say salt also. So they can able to survive in any kind of habitat. They are the primitive type of climate bacteria. Primitive means very old kind of bacteria that can able to survive in any kind of climatic condition as well as habitat. Let's study. They are grouped the most primitive prokaryote. Most primitive means oldest kind of prokaryotic organism, which live under most hostile condition, means any kind of bad and worst kind of condition they can able to survive. They can live in the salty area. Those which live in the salty area are called halophiles. Halophiles is the kind of habitat. Halophiles. Similarly, some can live in the hot spring, boiling hot spring of sulfur. Some bacteria can even live and survive in the hot boiling sulfur. They are called thermoacidophils. It is a kind of habitat in which they can able to survive. And some are can able to survive in the marshy area. Marshy and you can say salty area. In marshy area means you can say the place where there is a marsh. Marsh means daldal in that area. So those organisms, those bacteria which can live in that area are called methanogen. These three terms are very important. Remember this: halophiles, thermoacidophils, and methanogens. They differ from one another in their different cell structure of cell wall. So how can they able to survive in that particular kind of habitat and climatic condition? Although no organism can survive in that kind of climatic condition, they can able to survive with the help of their cell wall. So their structure and cell wall and their composition of cell wall is different in different kinds of bacteria. That's why they can able to survive in a particular kind of climatic condition. They have the bacteria. So the bacteria, all the bacteria that is present in this world can be classified on the basis of their cell wall. Some bacteria can have peptidoglycan. Those bacteria which can have peptidoglycan, they can stain with a simple dye, and those do not have peptidoglycan, they cannot be able to stain. Stain means they cannot take the color of any dye. So those bacteria which take the color of any dye and become colorful, when color is dropped on it, they take the color, they become colorful. They are called gram positive bacteria. And those bacteria which cannot be able to take any kind of color, they are called gram negative bacteria. This term has been given in the book very clearly in the NCERT book. Get study, read it very carefully. It is very important point. Okay, so what are the main difference between gram positive and the gram negative bacteria? Study it. Now we are going to study one more important kind of bacteria that are mostly found in the intestine of cow and buffaloes. Understood? Yes, they can able to survive in the intestine also. What are the function? They break down the cell wall of the grasses and thereby they help in the nutrition for the cow and buffalo, although they get the food on the breaking down of the cell wall of the grasses and husk. Let us study. So methanogen are present in the gut. Gut means intestine of several ruminant animals, means those animals which have four stomach. Yeah, I am telling right thing. Four stomach. They are called ruminant animal. The name two ruminant animal has been given over here, that is cow and buffalo, which is responsible for production of biogas. It breaks down the cell wall and thereby help in the production of biogas from the dung of this animal. Obviously, they help the cow and buffalo in their nutrition, because when they break down the cell wall, all the cell material comes out, and that is absorbed by the intestine of the cow and buffalo. Understood? And in this way they can able to get the proper nutrition. So these bacteria are symbiotic bacteria, means they help in the nutrition of the organism. Hope you understood. Now we are going to study the second category of organism, that where we have studied about methanogen and these archaebacteria. The second topic is eubacteria. Eubacteria is a true bacteria which is studied very often by us. Okay, so they are the true bacteria. They contain rigid cell wall. They have a well developed cell wall. This cell wall is also called is composed of cellulose. Okay, so if motile, means they can move from one place to another place. If they can move, they have flagella, means with the help of flagella they move from one place to another place. Obviously there are so many bacteria which haven't flagella. Understood? Now cyanobacteria are gram positive. I have already utilized the term gram positive. So those bacteria which stain with a dye are called gram positive, and which cannot stain with a dye are called gram negative. So cyanobacteria, or you can say cyano means blue green algae, are gram positive photosynthetic bacteria, means they contain photosynthetic pigment, means bacteriochlorophyll. This chlorophyll is different from the chlorophyll present in the plant, although they contain the chlorophyll, and with the help of that chlorophyll they can able to do the photosynthesis. So there are some bacteria who can able to do the photosynthesis, remember, and these bacteria contain chlorophyll A and carotenoid. So eubacteria are obviously unicellular. They can live in colony. They can have filamentous body system, body organization. They live in the fresh water, even the marine water, and sometimes terrestrial, means on the land. Some of them have a specialized heterocyst, means they can make another kind of cellular part, means cell. They have another kind of cell which help in the nitrogen fixation. So they have a specialized heterocyst. Hetero means different, cyst means cell. The cell that is different from bacterial cell, that has to perform nitrogen fixation, means this bacteria can able to fix the nitrogen. You know about Nostoc, Anabaena. They are the free living bacteria. They live freely on the soil, so they can able to do the nitrogen fixation. They fix the nitrogen into the soil, and thereby they gain the energy by breaking down of the nitrate, and thereby they do the chemical method of synthesis of their food. Obviously you will study later, it is then not been given in detail, but read the each and every line of the book NCERT. I am telling you, every line is very important to understand. Understood? Don't leave it. So they have a special kind of heterocyst which help in the nitrogen fixation, and by nitrogen fixation they obtain their food. Now chemosynthetic bacteria. There are a category of bacteria which chemically synthesize their food, means sulfur bacteria, nitrate bacteria, ammonia bacteria. There are so many kinds of bacteria which breaking down a particular kind of compound, and on breaking down the compound they obtain the hydrogen, and with the help of that hydrogen they get the energy, and they do the synthesis of the food, and they get the energy from there. Understood? So they do not utilize the sunlight, they utilize the chemicals to obtain the food. So that's why they are called chemo. Chemo means chemically synthesis of the food. So those bacteria which chemically synthesize their food are called chemosynthetic bacteria. They oxide the organic substance nitrate, nitrite, ammonia, etc. to produce energy and help in recycling of nitrogen. Understood? Nitrogen, phosphorus and sulfur. This chapter has been studied by you in class 9. It was there. There were so many bacteria which help in this type. Now, heterotrophic bacteria. There are a category of bacteria which are heterotrophic, which do not able to make their own food. So obviously they depend on the other to obtain their food. So they are the most abundant and act as a decomposer. They decompose the dead bodies of different organisms, and on decomposing the dead body they obtain the food from the dead bodies. They are helpful in production of curd. So what is the different kind of bacteria? Like lactobacillus, which utilize to make the curd with the help of milk. So when we pour some lactobacillus in the milk, it converts the milk into curd. It is a kind of heterotrophic bacteria which coagulate all the milk protein. Similarly, some are antibiotic and nitrogen fixing bacteria in the leguminous plant. They are heterotrophic, although The leguminous plant are symbiotic in nature, means they 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 helped in the obtaining of nitrogen or mineral to the plant. Rhizobium, I hope you listen this name. Some of them are pathogenic means they cause disease, so they act like a parasite. There are so many bacteria which live inside the body of organism and obtain the food from there, inside the body of living organism, and obtain the food from there and cause death due to particular kind of disease. Means when the bacteria enter into the body, they produce any kind of disease. Due to their activity, they obtain the lots of food and making the body weak and weak day by day, and at last the patient, if they are not cured well by the doctor, they die. So many bacteria are pathogenic in nature. They cause the death of different kinds of organism as well as human being. So what are the different kinds of disease that is spread by the bacteria? Cholera, typhoid, tetanus, citrus canker. It is the bacterial disease of a plant, citrus canker. Okay. Next, mycoplasma. It is one of the most important topic that need to be studied. It has already been given in the book. I hope you will study in detail it. Understood? So mycoplasma is the simplest free living prokaryotes. Very important. Free living prokaryotes means they have no nucleus, and I already told you they have no cell wall also. Remember this. Next, they are also called PPLO. Remember this. PPLO means pleuropneumonia like organism. Pleuropneumonia like organism cause pneumonic problem in the lungs. Means lungs related problem is obtained by this kind of organism, PPLO. So they look like, they also known as PPLO. Understood? They lack cell wall, means they have no cell wall, and they can able to survive without oxygen. Hope. Think about this. They can able to live in such a condition where there is no oxygen. So how much capable they would be to produce any kind of disease, isn't it? So they cause disease in plant and animal. So here the part number 2 of our lesson has been completed. Hope you understand each and every topic very well. Hope for your better learning. If you have any kind of problem regarding understanding, you can ask me. I will always ready to help you. Make the note and send it to me, because till now very few students has sent their homework. So be attentive and do their work. Okay, bye bye, see you.